Generally, anything that is critical to you performing or living your best life is worth spending a little bit of extra money on. Quality over quantity, quality over quantity, quality over quantity. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Reese. In today's video, I'm going over a few items which I think were absolutely worth spending a little bit extra money on in order to obtain them, and how I believe they will save me money in the years to come. Just as a disclaimer, I have left links in the description below to most of the items that I'm going to be discussing today. They are affiliate links, and if you do decide to purchase one of the products that I talk about, using one of the provided links, I will make a small commission on the sale. So let's just get right into it. So the first item is a decent pair of dress shoes. I, here in Australia, am very favorable on the brand RM Williams. I've talked about them in previous videos before as well, and I believe they are an absolute necessity in a dress shoe for someone who is in a very professional work life and someone who goes out to formal events regularly. My parents always taught me to invest in good quality shoes. You're probably on your feet more than you think you are, and skimping out on what goes on your feet is definitely a no-no. Now, I used to wear cheap dress shoes for both work and formal events, and ultimately they just looked tacky. I felt uncomfortable wearing them, they would fall apart quickly, and I would find myself having to go and repeat purchases every 6 months or every year or so. So I finally decided to take the plunge. I spent $600 on one of my pairs. I have two pairs. I have a black pair and a brown pair, which you should have already seen in the video, and they cost me quite a large amount of money. But the way I think about it is cost per wear. I know people who have these dress shoes who have had them for over 20 years, and they still wear them to this day, and they actually look just as good because they take care of them. Ultimately resulting in me not needing to buy other dress shoes. I can wear these to work, which I do almost every single day, as well as to formal events. So they are the substitute in for my dress shoe. They are what I wear regularly, and the upfront cost now is going to save me in the long run because I'm not going to have to fork out cash to buy new pairs. I really like them and I intend to wear them for as long as they will last. The second item on my list is a MacBook Pro. Now, I definitely believe people in the professional world today need a computer of some sort to essentially run their day to day. It may be used for work purposes, study, whatever the reason. I think investing in a decent computer and taking care of it, I want to emphasize taking care of it, is a must. Computers these days are pretty powerful. You can do a lot with them. Like I said, study, work, running a business from them, just getting some downtime, watching Netflix on them. Having a computer that performs, something that you can rely on, is ultimately necessary these days. Just for perspective, I bought my MacBook Pro in 2014. I spent a little bit extra on it because I wanted something that would hopefully perform better and last the tell of time, and we are here 6 years later recording this video. I'm looking at my MacBook with my notes and myself on the screen, and the machine keeps running. It is flawless, and ultimately I probably am going to be able to resell it for anywhere close to half of the purchase value, and this is 6 years later we're talking. So just for perspective, investing upfront in something that is going to last but also perform for you, something that you're going to use regularly, I highly encourage you take that plunge because you won't regret it in the future. Number 3 on my list is my phone. Now, I use an iPhone. I've used iPhones for the last 6 odd years. I've had an iPhone 6, an iPhone X, and now have an iPhone 11. Now, I am fortunate enough to be able to buy one every single year. However, I do not do this because that would be a waste of money. I generally upgrade every 3 years, and what I try to do is get at least half the value of the phone that I had previously in private sale. So I had my iPhone X recently. I had it for 3 years pretty much. I sold it for half the value I paid for it and used that money to put towards my current phone, basically putting me out of pocket about $300, which is pretty sweet for a brand new iPhone. I can't emphasize it enough that I think spending money on an item like this in today's day and age, where most people use their phones as an extension of their arm, I know I do. I think having something you can rely on in this space of being able to do things like your online banking, just using it for leisure, YouTube, whatever it is that you're using it for, being able to rely on it is so important, and it's definitely something that I believe is worth the upfront cost. But number 4 on my list is a decent pair of headphones and earbuds. You would think that as an Apple fanboy I would have AirPods, but I don't, and I haven't made the plunge yet to actually buy them because I bought a pair of Bose QC35 Mark IIs. That's the brand, link is in the description below. They are an over-the-ear headphone, and I really like these headphones. I think they are fantastic. When I purchased them, I spent about $300 on the pair, and they were advertised at about $500, and I've had them for over 3 years now, and they have been flawless. I use them every day. The line of work I'm in allows me to listen to music or podcasts throughout my day, and I cannot recommend enough having something that can sit over your ears for up to 10 hours in a day comfortably without you getting irritated. I can't recommend it enough that if you're going to be using something like this frequently, having a quality product that produces a quality sound is absolutely worth the investment. Number 5 is a decent desk chair. Now, I work from home. I have been working from home for the past 5 months, but I use my computer almost every day. I've used my PC for the last 6 years almost every single day, and I sit for long periods of time. So a desk chair, having something for my posture, for my back, was a necessity. So again, I forked out for this purchase. I looked up products that I believed were of good quality based on recommendations, reviews, and I spoke to people about it, and I found a product that was relatively expensive for a chair, but something that I have used consistently every single day, and it's fantastic. My posture is still good. I don't get backaches. I don't get annoyed in the positions that I'm sitting. So I can't recommend it enough. Forking out a little bit extra for a desk chair is an absolutely fantastic investment. Your back may not thank you now, but it probably will in the future, especially for people who are sitting down for long periods of time in a space that they can actually control, such as working from home. And item number 6 on my list is extra long charging cables. I have not yet transitioned to wireless charging. Don't know why, maybe a little bit of laziness in me, but I use 3-meter length charging cables because when my phone's on charge and I want to be using it from my bed, for example, having a little bit of extra length is super useful. I also have a charger that's plugged into my computer. My computer sits a little bit further away from my actual desk, so having this cable is very useful to me, being able to just sit it right next to my keyboard or mouse so I can see it, use it as I need to while I'm working. I personally believe this one is just a useful and pleasant thing to have, and there's not really much more to it. The investment isn't a very expensive one. They're quite cheap to purchase off of Amazon or eBay, and I couldn't recommend it enough. Number 7 is a decent bag or bags. So I have 2 main bags that I use, and I have had them for years now. I spent a little bit extra on them. Again, nothing too crazy, but more than your stereotypical $50 bag, where one's a backpack, which I use for work. I've taken it to different countries around the world, such as Japan, Italy, when I travel, and I have invested in a decent bag because back in high school, I used to buy things which were cheap. And the way I knew they were cheap would be because I remember it, I was sitting there at lunch at high school and my books were in my bag and they just fell straight out the bottom. The whole bottom had eroded away from wear and tear, just putting it down, lifting it up. So investing in a decent bag that has taken me all the way through the end of high school, through university and into my professional work life, and it's still going strong. It's a bag that still looks stylish, it feels good on my back, and it's actually supportive. Can't recommend it enough. I also use a duffel bag for carrying clothes, a spare change of clothes if I go to my girlfriend's, if I'm traveling for work, if I'm actually traveling to and from work. I used to shower at work because it would work out better when I'd go to the gym in the mornings. A decent duffel bag, something that is nice and robust, absolutely worth the money because it's got the space, it looks stylish, and it's actually really useful knowing that it's going to last over the years. And the last item on my list is a mattress. Now, I guarantee that you, just like any other human, sleeps a lot, somewhere in the realm of 4 to 12 hours a day. This item is probably the most important item on the list to spend your money on. It just doesn't make sense to be miserable and give yourself back problems to save a few extra dollars. Because of the frequency that you're going to be sleeping, investing in a decent mattress is a no-brainer. There's no way around it. It's something that you absolutely should consider doing. If you break it down to a cost per wear scenario, basically how much does it cost you over 20 years? So if you use it 1,000,000 times over 20 years versus an item of clothing like a t-shirt 10 times over 20 years, you can easily work out how every time you sleep on it, how much it's costing you. So if a mattress costs you $1,000 and you slept on it 1,000 times, then it would cost you $1 per usage. Or if you slept on it 10,000 times, it would cost you even less per usage. Mattresses, 100% worth the investment. Don't skimp out on it, you won't regret it. All of the items that I've talked about today have really lasted me a long time, and they're all going strong today. I put the upfront cost into place by buying the items, and I absolutely have got the return for value already on all of them. And they, like I said, are still going strong. They've given me a significant return on my investment because of the amount of usage I've gotten out of them. Also because of their resale value once I'm looking towards upgrading it, using the phone as an example. And the experience I've had with them has been fantastic. They are either comfortable, very practical, produce really good quality. They provide me with a service that another product may not be able to provide me with. Ultimately, they are worth the money to me. As I said at the start of the video, quality over quantity for items that are either going to improve your life significantly or be something that you use frequently as an everyday item. I hope I've given you some perspective on why I believe you should spend a little bit of extra money on some of the items that allow you to function during your day-to-day. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider liking and subscribing. I really appreciate it. Can't believe I hit over 100 subs already. It's pretty crazy. And I will see you in the next one.